Good morning, everybody. I decided that all is right with the world today. The women's volleyball team is going on to game 3 of the 6-game adventure to win the national championship. The men's basketball team beat a top 10 team. And what was the third thing? Oh, all is well in football, right? Everything's solved. Nothing more to worry about. And it occurred to me that the problem with high caliber athletics is a little bit similar to what we're talking about today, and it's the whole matter of sustaining your game at a very high level. And I wanted to chat a little bit about that and tell you about our plan, and then let these more knowledgeable, actually, individuals up here who are some of our community environmental leaders speak a little bit to things that are on their minds. Larry and Gaylord Baird, State Senator Anna Wishart, Chelsea Johnson, and of course the city's man, Frank Ularic, who manages most of our environmental efforts. So, with that, let me just say right off the bat that for the last 10 years as mayor, I have been very proud to be able to lead community efforts to reduce energy use, to protect the environment, and to continue building a greener, cleaner Lincoln. Lincoln is a community that's always placed a high value on the environment and on making smart choices for the future. Last July, we released our draft Lincoln Environmental Action Plan. We called it the LEAP. It contained 13 different action strategies to keep moving Lincoln forward on environmental goals for energy, for land use, for transportation, waste, and for water issues. For the last several months, our LEAP team has been collecting community feedback on the plan. We held a town hall meeting at Gear Library and created an online bulletin board for comments. We invited people and groups from all across Lincoln to provide input, and not surprisingly, Lincoln responded. Hundreds of people provided feedback on different elements of the plan. The responses confirmed that our community wants to continue to push for a cleaner and greener Lincoln. Lincoln wants more recycling. Lincoln wants conservation savings, like installing LED streetlights and energy-efficient city buildings and operations. Lincoln wants increased use of renewable energy, like wind and solar and biogas. Lincoln wants transportation improvements and smart city technologies that save money, are safer, and reduce pollution. Lincoln wants to ensure quality, availability, and smart use of our water supply. And Lincoln wants trails and parks and street trees that support exercise and a high quality of life in other ways. Our community wants these things not only because we know it's the right thing to do for our children and our grandchildren, we want them because the people in our community know that these things are helping right now to build Lincoln into a city that is in the forefront of technology, entrepreneurship, economic innovation, and high quality of life. The feedback we received over the last 4 months confirms that we are on the right track with LEAP's action strategies for energy, for land use, transportation, waste, and water. That community input also guided several changes to the LEAP that clarify goals, create more specific timelines, and additional metrics. Some of the changes include a new strategy to streamline the permitting and review of solar energy facilities, new language, and a new, more comprehensive strategy that recognizes that our environmental work includes not only urban Lincoln, but surrounding landscapes like Wilderness Park, the saline wetlands, and the prairie corridors. Increased metrics in the transportation section to demonstrate improvements associated with the Greenlight Lincoln program. And more changes, increased support of electric vehicles, transit, and biking, and more aggressive goals to reduce solid waste going into the city landfill. The final version of the Lincoln Environmental Action Plan will be placed on the City Council agenda for public hearing and then for a vote on December 18th. I'm excited about this plan. Investing in a cleaner, greener Lincoln most certainly creates what industry and economists call a triple bottom line. It returns economic, social, and environmental value. This innovative thinking, planning, and building are big reasons that Lincoln continues to shine on the national stage. The Lincoln Environmental Action Plan also guides several other initiatives coming forward in the next weeks and months. Energy savings performance contracts, a tool to improve energy efficiency of city street lights and public buildings and save taxpayer dollars. An exciting announcement about the development of a prairie corridor to preserve our landmark landscapes, create a new trail, and promote ecotourism. Testing new autonomous vehicle technology to improve travel times, increase safety, and reduce fuel costs. So, as you can see, we are never content to rest on current successes. Lincoln has energy and vibrancy like never before. We are dreaming, we are planning, we are working together to continue to build a great city, and I'm very much committed to continuing that progress in the area of environmental preservation. So, with that, I'm going to end my little discussion and invite these other environmental leaders to say a few words, starting with Lyria.
Thank you.
Please.
Good morning. Climate change is happening at a record-breaking pace. 10 of the Earth's warmest years on record have occurred in the last 2 decades. 2016 was the hottest year on record, having broken the record set by the year 2015. UNL climate researchers project that in Nebraska by the year 2100, our summers will have 13 to 25 days over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, that we will have 20 to 40 more nights over 70 degrees Fahrenheit, and that we'll see a decrease in our soil moisture of about 5 to 10%. These experts project reduced stream flows in the rivers that provide our drinking water and irrigate our crops. They anticipate increases in the number and intensity of severe weather events. These forecasts threaten our state's ag economy as well as the quality of our daily lives. These rising temperatures are altering our climate, and the impacts range from droughts and disrupted ecosystems and extreme weather events to rising sea levels and ocean acidification. So far, visible impacts here in Nebraska include a change in the length of the growing season and greater variability in temperature and precipitation. Fortunately, Lincoln residents understand the challenge. We recognize that the worst forecasts are predictions that do not have to become our reality. We recognize that we can increase our resilience to the risks climate change poses to our economy, the environment, and our daily lives. And we recognize that now is the time to act. The citizen-recommended changes to the Lincoln Environmental Action Plan demonstrate both a thoughtful, practical response to climate change, as well as a proactive approach to stewarding the natural resources that have been entrusted to us in our lifetime. The public's recommended changes, some of which the mayor touched on, include making the permitting process easier for solar energy facilities to help reduce our fossil fuel consumption. They include adding better performance metrics to the Greenlight Lincoln program so that we can determine if our actions are actually translating into the results we desire. And they include doing more to preserve natural areas, noting how important the green spaces, the important role they play in improving our water and air quality, reducing flood impacts, and providing healthy recreational opportunities. These are common sense changes suggested to us by members of our community, changes that strengthen the plan and ultimately strengthen our quality of life. Lincoln residents are asking us to take bold and decisive action to create a better future for our families and for the generations that follow us. And creating a more sustainable future is going to take all of us working together, and that's why the public's role in this process is so critical. The public has taken a good plan and making it even better. And I, for one, look forward to hearing from more Lincoln residents at the City Council's public hearing on December 18th. To those who've been wondering what they can do here at home to make a difference in the face of rapid-paced climate change, I invite you to speak up. With all the meaningful input we have received so far, I have no doubt that we will hear much more and that there will be a lot more for the council to consider following the hearing. This is an opportunity for everyone in Lincoln to help develop local solutions to one of the greatest and most important challenges of our time. Thank you.
Well put, Larry and Senator.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councilwoman Gaylor Baird. Whether it is growing tomatoes on an apartment balcony, sharing fresh produce at a community garden, whether it's students experimenting with aquaponics in their classroom, or urban farmers cultivating vacant lots into farms, the local food movement is growing across the country, and I am proud to live in a city that is embracing local food and urban agriculture to the benefit of our environment, our health, and our economy. One of the local community-driven organizations that is leading this movement is the Lincoln-Lancaster County Food Policy Council. If you are interested in getting more involved in urban agriculture and local food, you can find information on attending their meetings on their Facebook page, Let's Grow Lincoln. I want to thank Mayor Beitler and the City of Lincoln for their environmental stewardship. Thank you.
I'm Chelsea Johnson. I'm the Deputy Director of the Nebraska League of Conservation Voters. Protecting our natural legacy is a value that brings people together. Everyone wants clean air and clean water and a healthy future. The mayor is right that Lincolnites want to live in a sustainable community. Conservation voters citywide have pushed for leadership that manages both our financial and natural resources responsibly. And fortunately, we have elected officials that listen to their constituents and prioritize the environment. Currently, Lincoln gets 50% of its electricity from renewable resources. Our bike score is first in Nebraska, and earlier this year, the City Council passed an initiative that will substantially improve our recycling rate. But we can do better, and Lincolnites have demonstrated that we want to see continued improvement. We want to see Lincoln prepare for the impacts of climate change and ensure that we live in a safe and healthy community. The LEAP plan does this while making good business sense. Implementation of this plan will improve our air quality by retiring older, high-polluting vehicles in the city's fleet and replacing them with modern, low-emission ones, while also investing in renewable fuels. Today, 6% of the city's fleet is fueled by clean alternative energy. This plan will reduce non-renewable fuel usage in the city fleet operations by 50% by 2030. This is an important step forward because the transportation sector across the country is one of the leading sources of air pollution, which causes increased risk for cancer and stroke, as well as respiratory illnesses like asthma. The plan also calls for further investment in renewable energy through the improvement of Lincoln's Sol Smart rating and investments in solar energy at municipal facilities. Sol Smart has 3 classifications: bronze, silver, and gold, to designate the state of a community's business climate for solar energy. Right now, Lincoln has a bronze designation, but this plan will help us get to gold by March of 2018 and demonstrate that we are open for solar business, further improving our energy infrastructure. Protecting our environment is not a controversial issue. In a Pew Research Center survey conducted last year, 3/4 of U.S. adults said the country should do whatever it takes to protect the environment. We have seen how adamantly Lincolnites support actions that make our city more bike-friendly, improve our recycling rate, and increase our renewable energy portfolio. We still have work to do to improve in these areas, and this plan is a big leap forward in the right direction. So the Nebraska League of Conservation Voters is very grateful to the mayor for introducing this plan, and hope to see a lot of folks in the Lincoln community attend the council hearing on December 18th.
All right, thank you very much, Chelsea. Are there questions?
Much of this stuff your administration has been doing for the last 10 years, why put it in a resolution form? Many of the things in here you've already been working on and moving towards.
Yeah, the elements of the plan are in part designed to be incorporated altogether so that at this point in time, we can get community approval of the objectives, which we have now done. This plan has been around in draft form, I think, since July of this year or so. So it's not brand new this week. And we want to engage the public and engage the different segments of the public who take an interest in these things, so as to demonstrate that there is broad support for these objectives, and to acquaint the city council, to acquaint leadership in the city with what we're about, and to develop as rapidly as we can the support to get these things approved by the council at the first appropriate time.
You mean to get things approved beyond this resolution?
Well, yes, I'm talking about getting things ultimately done, getting the strategies completed. But the approval of the resolution is certainly going to give us the signal that we're going in the right direction as far as the council's concerned.
Do you know if you have unanimous approval on the council for this resolution?
I don't know if we have unanimous approval. Do you know?
No, I don't.
If this were passed, when would you start implementing these different?
Pardon me?
If this were passed, when would you start implementing these different strategies?
Well, that's a question that has a lot of different parts to it. We have to see how the council generally reacts to the different items, to see what their ideas are with regard to what we put on the runway first. We do know that we have a degree of consensus on a number of those strategies. So depending on the stage that they're at, that would make a difference also in calculating when we bring them forward. But sooner or later, assuming the council in its majority is good with this, and hopefully far more than a majority, we will move them all forward.
Like within a year, within like a period of 5 years, or for like how soon would the first things be?
Well, I mean, that's all going to depend on the sequence of events and how the public reacts and what the reaction is on the different specific items. So we'll have to have conversations with the council first and foremost on this. Did you want to comment on that at all?
Just to reiterate, I mean, the public input process is so vital, and so we haven't been rushing this plan. It's spent over a month. I think we first announced the plan publicly in July, and it's had a lot of time to gather public input. There's a log online where you can read every single comment, and many of them are quite lengthy. So the public hearing at City Council will provide even more opportunity for the plan to be shaped. It's not in its final form until after that, after it passes the council. But clearly, there's an urgency to this. We have to act sooner rather than later if we want to try and mitigate some of the risks that we face in the face of some of the climate change that we are seeing.
All right, good to go? Thank you very much. And thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.